Yo, goons, what's good? Today, as a follow-up to my Illaoi guide, I'm now doing a guide on my team, which is Illaoi. So in this guide, I'm not so much going to be focusing on the individual characters, so I'm assuming you have a strong understanding of both of them going into this. But instead, I'm going to be focusing on what makes this team good, the synergies therein, why I play it, and it's going to be a lot of combos and setups. That's where I think I'm like way ahead of anyone else on this team right now, because I've labbed it a lot. Now, as you can see here, I am Challenger, so I'm not a complete random, but I mean, honestly, Challenger is piss low. In my defense, I haven't played in a couple days, that's why we're not higher. But regardless, you know, I promise you'll see things that have not been shown with this team yet, because I am the only person doing them from what I've seen. So with that said, let's get right into it. So let's just get this out of the way. Vi goes on point, Illaoi goes on assist. The reason why? Well, there's a few. First of all, Vi has some of the most threatening neutral in the entire game when backed up with Illaoi's back assist. That's because of S1 plus back assist. It's like a full screen, super plus on block, neutral skip, that full combos on hit. What's there not to love? It's meterless, you can do it twice, it's extremely strong. Another reason is because the on-block sequencing with this team is far stronger if Vi is the one initiating it, with Illaoi assists compared to the other way around. I mean, there's practically no reason to play Illaoi in neutral over Vi, so keep that in mind. Vi also complements Illaoi in many ways, so having the fast movement speed and stagger pressure to start off is certainly more advantageous than what Illaoi brings to the table. And she can also coast to coast off practically any hit. She can convert very reliably using her success 1 into L. You end up getting a tag launcher, and you can put Illaoi in her game-winning situation like every time with Vi. Now to talk fuses, I'm going to be showing off 2x assist, and we'll explain a little bit of the core synergy with this team, but it has much to do with the fact that you want Illaoi to activate tentacles and to use Vi to mix with them, and you also want Vi to be able to OTG for Illaoi. And having two opportunities to do so with both characters, I think this is the best mix of benefits that you can get from your fuse compared to some of the others. Freestyle, I think, technically works, and in fact, I believe if it's fully optimized, although it's difficult, could be better than 2x assist, but this is a difficult fuse to play with and requires a lot of labbing. And double down, I think, is very unnecessary with this team. The way this team is designed is to 2-touch off of most hits anyway. You're getting a lot of extra damage from 2x assist in freestyle regardless, to the point where I don't think the extra super damage from this, especially when you consider the burst build for the opponent and the extra meter that you spend, it's just not worth it. It really isn't, because you're going to be doing S2 super with Illaoi off of your big combo, and it's going to end up being a 2-touch sequence anyway. TODing when the opponent's going to build burst and such, it's really not worth the trade-off in my opinion. So all that being said, let's get a little bit more into this team now. So let me now explain some of the core synergy with this team. Now the original reason why I conceptualized this team all the way back when Vi was revealed is because of this back assist. It's an OTG assist, and that is extremely powerful. In fact, it's the very best thing about Vi that there is. Now in particular, Illaoi has a lot of moves that knock down the opponent, and she doesn't have OTG moves of her own to continue. You have this dive kick, you have the Rekka as I just showed, you have your overhead. There's so many times where that's going to happen, and you wish that you could get more. Now not only that, Illaoi also is a character that does not really use her bounces that much in her combos, especially in her solo routes. And what is a bounce that is very good to extend off of? That would be her down S1, especially if you have a tentacle. And so this creates a natural concept of the sorts of extensions you want to do with this team, and that Vi enables extremely well. Now in general, Illaoi is very, very strong with sandwich pressure. The reason why is because mid-screen, she normally can't really use her tentacles in pressure because the opponent will easily get around it. Even if you're covering a move with assist, even if it's like this move, they'll often be way out of range for you to use it effectively. But when you have a character that can easily cross up when or after you spawn tentacles, then even if your mix fails, you tag back to Illaoi and you have a tentacle to use. And that is just really, really strong. It's why she tends to do super well with characters like Yasuo and Echo that can naturally cross up from anywhere. And in particular, with 2x assist, this is one of the real benefits of it. You get Illaoi's forward assist, this one, into her back assist. And there's a gap right there on the tentacle activation that is unmashable, but you can cross up during or do really many different things. And so what will happen is you activate this and you cross up in the middle. And that actually gives a full combo. It's super, super strong, and that's one of the core ideas as well from the Vi end as to the synergies that you get. Another nice synergy that you have with this team is that Vi is super good at assist stalling. There's a few different ways that she can do it. I see many Vi's not doing this correctly, but she has really good stagger pressure, so if you ever land a throw, that's going to stall for your assist super well. This light target combo is like the key to playing Vi. You can delay it a ton. It's only -4. There are many characters that can't interact well with this on block, and you can kind of delay an entire string here, all of which is frame traps, and by the time that's done being blocked, or even if it hits, you can use Illaoi assist and really take advantage of the situation you're left in. So she actually does have good synergy with Illaoi, as well as Illaoi having good synergy with her. And another reason I'm going to show off why I use 2x assist something to that effect. So it allows even Vi off of her awkward hits and knockdowns. For example, if you frame trap with this and you confirm into this, you're usually not getting much of a combo, but you can do that OTG and do that pickup that I just showed off of many low prorated Vi knockdowns and still get a really good situation after. It's a very, very big draw with her. And that includes off of her throw, for example. And you should know by now, if you're competent with Vi, that that is a super strong tick throw option off of all of her lights. Very, very hard to react to. There's multiple spots that you can do it from here. And as I mentioned back in Champ Select, you get possibly the strongest neutral skip in the game, or at least one of them. I mean, Yasuo JS1, we don't talk about that. This one's not going to cross you up that much at least, but if you have 2x assist, you can do those shenanigans. I'm referring to Vi S1 and Illaoi back assist. This is a disgusting combo. It's so strong. And if it hits, you get massive reward from it from practically anywhere. Really easy to confirm. There's a few ways you can do it. You can also tag into Illaoi, and that's super generous as well, if you kind of just want to make sure that you get corner. You still get decent damage. I like to do this confirm quite a bit. But yeah, this right here is like a major draw to playing this team. You want to be using this a lot. It's super broken. And even if it gets blocked, you can call the second Illaoi assist, and it's so easy to confirm on that back assist knockdown. You just do another 2s2 with Vi on that second knockdown, then tag back to Illaoi, and you can pick up and combo off of it. It's just so good. Such an amazing round start in so many ways. Now that was quite a bit in terms of what makes this team good. I'm now just going to focus on giving you the tools you need to cash out. And one of the main areas I see a lot of players running this team not taking advantage of is conversions on Illaoi hits. You have to take advantage of that Vi back assist. It is so strong. So let me just show you the core idea in many of these combos. Yeah, 628 damage off of your medium starter in the corner with Illaoi that you get tag launch back into with JS2 Oki, including potentially doing super. This is incredibly strong. It is a ton of damage. And by the way, quick aside I should mention here, I have spent quite a lot of time optimizing every single one of these combos, including down to like the exact individual sequence of it. You might be wondering like, oh, why didn't he do JMJH here? Or why didn't he do multiple aerials here? Or why did he do this medium there rather than skipping it? Or why didn't he do button before tag launch, etc.? I promise you, I've labbed it all, and this is the best I could find for now. It may not be absolutely optimal, but it is probably better than what you're thinking of right now. Now let me show it from the Vi side. You still end up with Illaoi in corner, and 587 damage off a medium starter. This is super strong. It's going to give you a 2-touch when you S2 super. So there's a couple core ideas here. And the most important one is you always want to combo into Vi full charge S1. This thing adds a dummy amount of damage, even late into scaling. And there's a few ways that you can set up for it, but in general, it's just activating a tentacle. There's two ways I do it. I either do forward assist and then back assist, and you can full charge it off that, or I just activate a down S1 and I tag. That will also work. By the way, minor optimization, at least at high scaling. You can start full charging in Illaoi 5H before you tag after the 2S1, but it messes with being able to tag launch after, and it literally adds like 4 damage compared to if you just stay on Vi in many of the more scaled routes. So maybe at some low scalings, that's like a fat optimal in the corner, but generally wouldn't recommend it. I just thought I'd mention it. So yeah, when I'm playing Vi, I just want to get this half charge S1 and then, you know, forward and back assist, and that's going to allow me to then get my full charge. It actually just combos into itself, then you can tag. It actually doesn't scale the combo that much. Then if I'm playing Illaoi, I'm just going to down S1 and then tag and then full charge. That's like the core essence of my combo game. You always want to try to get that charge by S1, no matter what. In light of that, why not just go and show some more of the routes that I have in the corner here that I have pretty optimized? I'll just show them off for you. Say for example you're going for a tick throw, they fuzzy throw, you get the overhead. Guess what happens to them? And if they happen to hold that tick throw, this is what happens. And then you can choose the S2 super, and guess what? That's also a 2-touch sequence. And if they're trying any shenanigans to avoid this mix-up game, all you have to do is catch them with a delay 2M, and then this happens. They die. And then of course if you land a Vi throw as well, you can actually combo. You just have to get used to timing this assist. You get pretty good reward there. You get Tentacle Oki in the corner, can potentially super off of it. Everything leads you to your game-winning situation. And just mix in throws when you're doing your staggers and make sure that you're cashing out on your staggers into the high damage routes. It's really, really important that you're doing all this at the same time. And if you are, you get insane pressure off of it, and that's not even getting into the mix-ups on block. And with this dive kick, you can also combo, including if you're in the corner. If you do fuzzy jump, even if you're fuzzy jumping with up back, which is like the easy input, it pushes her forward, so it crosses them up, and then you get full combos off of it. It's just absurd that she's able to get that off of her dive kick. Like, you just win the game off of your fuzzy jump as a result of that. And the real big benefit of calling your assist whenever you're trying to combo, you can always burst bait. It's really, really strong because of that. Or at least make it burst safe or threaten supering whenever you want. Yeah, you also want to be doing these low prorated Vi knockdown conversions. This one's a little trickier because you actually have to delay the 2S1 with Illaoi if you tag. And if it's too highly scaled, you actually need to just jump up there and either end the combo immediately with like a JM JS2, or sometimes you can try a JS1 with the tentacle extension and then JM JS2. That really just depends on scaling, you need a feel for it. But point being, you can convert into really high damage off of all Vi's frame traps, which she uses to stall for assist and then mix on block. So that's kind of the idea of mixing everything together here. I mean, yeah, the amount of damage you can get with this team is just absolutely insane, and that's what you really want to play off of. You also can, of course, convert off the Rekka. This is super, super strong as well. And you kind of get a feel for the amount of hits in your combo and when you can do like JMJH as the ender, or when you can do like 5H tag launcher instead of just raw tag launcher off of the full scaled bias one. Yeah, you really just have to experiment with some of these routes and concepts in order to get a feel, like I said, for when you can do that. But generally, the fewer the hits, the more likely you are to do that, and the more likely it is to be beneficial to do that in order to get more damage. But yeah, my Rekka just did 552. That's crazy. It's especially strong when you start hit confirming this. It's like super, super hit confirmable. In fact, I dare say you don't really need to lab it. I should say also, 1 to 2 is confirmable. 2 to 3, I think is harder, but still doable. And so this effectively really buffs Illaoi's stagger pressure, because once you're confirming it, the opponent really feels a lot more threat to them, because the damage is way higher, of course, from your conversion with Vi. And so they're less likely to want to mash on it and challenge it. And then you can stall for your Vi assist and whatnot if you don't have it already. I mean, you'll really get it even if it's down, because this knockdown is so generous in terms of how late you can call the Vi assist. But even on block, you can threaten that. And so this is going to allow you to enforce offense with both characters by cashing out and using their synergies so much more than you would be able to. So mid-screen, the rules are a bit different. Now, if you can combo into Vi full charge S1, you should, but you can't always, because not all your hits will allow you to spawn a tentacle and continue the combo after mid-screen. So for example, off Rekka, I can't like do this and then call another Vi assist and down S1. I don't have the space for it. So instead, what I just do is I call the Vi assist late so I have time to run up, and I just do this pickup. Then you can tag launch after this or do whatever the hell you want. If you're close enough from some spacings like there, it will, like I just showed there, juggle them into the tentacle. That can be quite good. The moves that do spawn tentacles in neutral, these can still work with that method. And that's like really, really belligerent, because you can do this kind of thing in neutral. And that dive kick is just really, really, really annoying to deal with when you get all this off of it. And it's basically full screen too, because right here, you can dash with this S1 quite a bit before you get this tag launcher, and it's just crazy reward. It just makes it so much harder to play neutral against Illaoi because it buffs many, many, many of her hits. Like her long range conversions into Rekka that you normally can't get much off of, like these suddenly now have good reward. And especially a big one is her anti-airs now have amazing reward. Because you can do this kind of thing, and you go from like a barely over 270 damage conversion to like 470 and corner and super, and you can optimize it more at some spacings. It's like such a big difference maker once you're implementing these. With Vi, there's a few things you can do, but honestly my biggest recommendation is her corner carry is so good. I believe what you should do is simply do corner carry, tag launch into Illaoi or tag her in somehow, some way, and then just play her S2 super with assist up, because when you have assist up, then you can do some nasty stuff we'll show later. And you can really see that Vi can kind of like coast to coast from wherever she is, and that's really, really useful with this team. Now there is also that route. I don't particularly think it's that much better, but the concept is there. I kind of have a frame kill there with the HH in order to call the forward assist and then back assist, but actually timing it manually so that like this self combos, this is really, really, really hard. If you can get it consistent, I think there's probably some ways to optimize these mid-screen routes with Vi. But yeah, I just prefer corner carry into either tag launch or tag in some way. Like just your typical B&B, you know? This is very good with this team. And then playing this situation and whatnot. But even mid-screen off of Vi throw, you get way more than you would. I mean, lots of corner carry, lots of damage, lots of meter build. This is excellent. Similar concept to before here, you know, and whatnot. If you don't have a tentacle with Illaoi, it's kind of awkward to get the tag launcher where you want it, just saying. And off the Vi overhead as well with the tentacle. I almost forgot to leave that out. Yeah, crazy damage in the corner, you can see. And of course, the command grab as well with Vi can get you some pretty nasty reward in the corner, especially for how hard it is to react to and deal with. It's just also good. So we can also extend Illaoi's mid-screen B&B a little bit with this team, and it works from practically anywhere. Omit the 2M here. Omit the JL here. Call assist late, dash 2S1, tag launch, only JM. And you get quite a bit more than you would normally with solo Illaoi off that route, so it's definitely worth using the assists in my opinion. But also, if you can just get to corner, do the S2 super, and you're going to 2-touch anyway, I think it's kind of better to have the assist for after the super. Or one situation that's really, really good is if you do the S1 super, so this situation is obviously like giga broken as well. That is post super Oki, and if you time everything correctly there, as I did in that sequence, you can gaplessly overhead, be plus on block with the second assist, and OS for both hits. It's like a full combo if the overhead hits, or if the meaty hits, or if the Vi assist hits. It's like crazy strong, and part of why I actually think even if they nerf S2 super to the ground, that setup is still the best or some of the best post super Oki in the entire game. I mean, it's not Echo Timeline or OS, which is cringe, but throw RC, etc. You know, we won't talk about that. So now getting into pressure sequencing a little bit. So obviously both characters just complement each other well, just like with extensions and such. You know, things of this sort, and strike throw, overhead, all those high reward hits we already mentioned. But in terms of specific setups, well, there's a few things to be aware of. First of all, one key concept here, Vi's 6S1, 6S1. This cross up goes crazy far, which means you're really, really good at playing around retreating guard. So one thing you can do, for example, is do low, 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 and then call assist and cross up, and they can't retreating guard it at all. It's replicable every single time you do it. Like that. And that's pretty much an instant cross up. It's very, very, very strong. And from there you have quite a few options. So one thing that's really, really good, like I showed there, is sandwiching with a charge 5H. That works amazingly. You can get a gapless charge overhead, then you're plus in-stand medium range, and you have 2 tentacles. So this is a really good spot for Illaoi to extend pressure. And you could always just score a free hit with the cross up whenever you want. And you can even like cross up twice during that thing, because this has like a bajillion hit stun. You just have to make sure you're not having them be cross up protected. So you don't want to cross up like once the second part starts, because a lot of the time they're in the middle of block stun and they won't get crossed. They actually did get crossed there, by the way. So you really want to sequence into things like this, I recommend, in the corner. You definitely want to get this 5H out with Vi before you cross up, because otherwise you might not have enough block stun to call the Vi back assist, and you'll just get hit if the opponent's mashing. So that's kind of an important distinction to make here. And you can just set up some really disgusting layers with this. For example, this is actually same side here, so I'll just hold down back. Right here. That was same side. And then I still have all these plus frames to work with on block. I still have an overhead. There's so many things to look out for. I could strike throw whenever I want there. And I'll show you what happens here if I try to block cross up. Right here, I get hit. See? So at any time, if you get those kinds of hits in your strings, you just want to tag to confirm in general. I mean, maybe if you find a perfect sequence, you can have it so that the Vi charge S1 or charge 5H will combo with your overhead with Illaoi, but I haven't really found one like that. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of the core idea of sequencing with these characters. Another kind of sequence you can do is this kind of thing. That's very, very good in the corner as well. It can work, although I've seen some very, very bizarre interactions sometimes. I don't know if this is like a character hurtbox thing or whatever, where sometimes if I try to cross up like this, the Illaoi assist will just like come with me on the other side, and it will just go the complete opposite direction and miss on the opponent. I think it might be a hurtbox size thing, but regardless, if you can get this to work, it's really good. Otherwise, what I have shown just before this is also really, really strong. Now, if you're Illaoi, unfortunately, using Vi is not that amazing for your own pressure, but there's some things you can do. For example, you can do like low, low, low. Cover this, gapless overhead here, confirm and be plus on block. I think that is actually pretty good. But I think like summoning the Vi pack assist can be better here, and just going for this kind of cross up. And even like double 6S1, like I said, and just do like a double cross up. That's kind of a way to get a good hit there. But you kind of just have to remember the reward diff on the things you're going for. Like with Illaoi, a lot of it mid-screen is not so much using Vi like to set up these crazy pressure strings as it is like using her as part of your mental stack. So in your throw game, you're converting to make it way more threatening. In your overhead game, you're converting to make it way more threatening. Things of that sort. That's kind of how I use Vi when I'm on offense with Illaoi. But when I'm on offense with Vi, I use Illaoi to set up my mix-ups and to sequence like I showed you before. So you can also threaten this like super jump forward or back drift cross up off the throw, and that will also make your mid-screen throw game really, really threatening, because if this hits, you get way more damage between the throw damage and the combo than you do off just the throw conversion. So yeah, you just use Vi and the threat of Vi assist to just make all these options like way, way more scary in your pressure. And doing like delay this to like catch jumps, and that's when you really start introducing these full charge mental stack options, or even covering them with assist as well sometimes. I mean, Illaoi does, if she is covered, have pretty scary pressure up close. So you just want to mix and match, you know, you want to use your character to support each other and that kind of thing. But yeah, with Illaoi Pressure, it's much more about playing around the reward that you get using Vi Assist than it is sequencing with Vi Assist, like I said. And also just being happy with going back to neutral and knowing that if you hit one of these, or one of these, or one of these, or one of these, any of those, the opponent is just going to get blown up. And moreover, at the end of your mix-up, you also want to insert these kinds of things. So like after everything gets blocked. And I really recommend that you cash out in those instances and confirm these into your super, just to maintain momentum, and you built a lot of bar making them block and all that. If you just hit one of these raw without Vi Assist, just do it. It's worth it, I promise, especially with the assist OK I showed earlier. And I showed this in a video as well, but you can actually cover your S2 super summon with Vi Assist, and that's quite good because we haven't actually focused on this yet. But when this tentacle super is out, obviously Vi is really strong because you can time cross-ups with these hits. And that's really cheeky because it leaves him standing and you get a full combo off of it and it does a ton of damage. Now, something else regarding setups with these characters is you definitely want to make sure sometimes if the opponent is especially push block heavy, that you're just using your assist really quickly in your strings, because as long as you can do this, you're getting a mix-up. And it will beat retreating guard, like no matter where you are, you don't really have to worry about that. There's not much parry RPS or anything to that effect. You just need to summon the tentacle and activate it as fast as you can. So like this kind of thing is really good. And then you can tag to burst bait as well if they do get hit. That's very, very strong. And if they're just push blocking out either character individually, they also have strong options to respond to it. So if I'm getting push blocked out as Vi here, for example, if you're spaced, actually her S1 is plus on block. And you can continue offense like that. You can actually tell, I think, if there's a little shake like that, as you saw in the end part there. And even if you're negative, this has a lot of block stun and recovery. And if you're stalling for assist or waiting for them to push block, then you summon Illaoi, then they're screwed. They have nothing they can do there. And their assist is out, and it's just going to take a fat chunk. So just be aware of that. And then if you get push blocked out with Illaoi, you happen to have this half screen move that also activates a tentacle. So I thought I'd throw that in as well in terms of things you should be playing around. And yeah, you really just play Newton's laws neutral, you know? You're kind of not doing something until you are, and then assist comes up, F neutral, full throttle, you know? And then I go from like a neutral skip to GG's. You really play this if you want to have an overwhelming threat, and if you're good at playing the mind game of not just full sending it. This team has, I think, a little bit of potential for some brain dead play styles, but it will be so much stronger if you're actually like mixing in things properly and taking advantage of the opponent's respect and fear. And like if they're just really scared of this and just jumping or throwing projectiles, you know, do this under them and that kind of thing, or run up and throw them because your reward is so high, or just make them air block, jail them, and then do your sequence on block. There's so many ways to just use the very threat of these options that just give you a huge psychological advantage over the opponent. If you had to ask me like where do I think this team is on the tier list, in this exact version at the time of making this video, I think it's probably somewhere in the middle of high tier, perhaps on the upper end, but it can't really be beyond that because it lacks certain things that the most belligerent top tiers have. In particular, although this neutral skip is indeed very, very good, it's a little bit one note. These characters aren't that amazing at stalling their approaches. Illaoi has a lot of screen presence, it's true, but it's not worth the trade-off of just playing her in neutral. It's just not, compared to when you have this kind of thing. Even if you don't have this kind of thing, you'd still be playing Vi in neutral. And you compare that to someone like Yasuo, who can zone, who can whiff punish, who can throw unwhiff punishable moves that are highly confirmable and lead to death combos, and lead to sandwich full mixed up fuzzies on block. There's just like strictly better versions of this team, I would say. And also teams that put you in game-winning situations off every hit, except they also build limit strikes. So I'm talking about like echo-based teams here. Yeah, there's more versatile all-around teams out there that do the same thing as the benefits of this team. I mean, laser tag is the best neutral skip in the game. That would be a Jinx super into tag. I call it laser tag. If that gets picked up on, you know where you heard it first, I'm just saying. But yeah, there's better mix, there's better block strings, there's better damage, there's better setups out there. But if you really, really want to use the enhanced threat of dealing a lot of damage and leading to situations in a way that is kind of more constructive and a game plan that you can play around instead of something you just kind of repeat because it's a super strong situation, this is the team for you. And I think that also means this team is good for future-proofing. I think that we might see some Illaoi nerfs, but if we do, they'll probably be focused around her S2 super, as they already have been actually in this version. They reduce the chip damage. But as I showed earlier, her S1 super situation, if you have assist, is like just as good, if not better. It's really, really, really strong. And so they're pretty good to go moving forward. And I suspect we might see some Vi buffs, or if they're going more with a nerf-oriented approach early into the game, she's probably going to avoid a lot of them, because consensus is among most top players that this is quite a mid character. She's not like bottom of the barrel, but she's certainly nowhere near characters like Echo, Jinx, and Yasuo. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I'm actually switching teams though. I think this team is great. I enjoy playing it, but I'm just a little cringe. I don't like when characters get too popular, and we're seeing Illaoi on like a ton of meta-relevant teams right now. So I think I'm going to mess with Vi Darius. There's some sauce there. Anyway, if you want to see a Vi guide or Darius guide or anything to that effect, or just some challenger level gameplay, then of course let me know. But hopefully this developed your team quite a bit. I know for a fact like 90% of what's in here is all my own making. So you're welcome, and I'm going to hate playing against random bums in ranked now that are repeating what I showed here. That is very good that they never would have found anyway. But whatever, such is the nature of making guides. Yeah, subscribe or you'll have to buy Feastables.